Hello and welcome back to Kitco Mining with me, Paul Harris, here in Dawson City in Yukon, Canada at the Yukon Mining Investment Conference. Today we're talking about gold exploration and a great pleasure to be joined by Darwin Green, Executive Chair of Onyx Gold. Good afternoon, Darwin.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for having me.
Now, Onyx Gold is due to go publicly traded on the TSX Venture Exchange very, very soon. Congratulations there. Tell us about that. Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. It's in fact, it's going very, very soon. What are we? Thursday here. We'll be trading Monday, July 24th, so just in a few days here. We made a decision to spin out Onyx Gold. It was the Canadian assets held within High Gold Mining.
High Gold's in Alaska, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and we've got a high-grade deposit there that we're advancing. We made a decision to spin out our Canadian assets. Made that decision earlier this year, and now 5 months later, we're here finally, and we've raised 8.36 million in that process, and really excited to be trading and hit the ground running.
I mean, tough capital markets for gold exploration. The fact you've raised 8 million is obviously very, very good. The decision to sort of spin out in this market, that must have been, was that a tough decision, or what was some of the thinking behind that?
Yeah, well, it was an interesting decision, and there's several reasons behind it. One was for High Gold, almost all of our valuation was based on our Alaskan asset, and so we felt our Canadian assets, we weren't realizing value for it. But we also felt we could raise money for it because we had a very compelling story in those Canadian assets. And, you know, one of the things, great having assets, but if you don't have money to explore them, that's really tough. And so by spinning them out, we could both unlock value, but also create a vehicle that we could capitalize and get after and really create the real value, which is making new discoveries on it.
Okay, so 8 million with the raise with the spin out. What are you going to do with that money?
We're going to put it to work drilling. We've got the company's asset base we've got a huge portfolio in the Timmins Camp, Ontario. It's kind of the epicenter for gold in Canada. It's not brand new and exciting as the Yukon is, but we love those assets, and we'll be drilling there in the fall. Nearer term, now it's summer here in the Yukon, and we're going to make good use of the sunshine here and the long days. And we've got crews on site right now on our Yukon projects. And what we have in the Yukon is a land package consisting of 4 properties, totaling over 200 square kilometers in what I'm sort of dubbing the Snowline District. It's within the Tombstone Gold Belt, these intrusion-related gold systems. And obviously Snowline has made a very significant new discovery in that area. It's probably the most significant discovery in the gold space in the last few years. We have a target that's very much a look-alike in terms of intrusion-related, very strong and large gold soil anomaly. It was actually defined back in 2011. We've been waiting to get back to it ever since. Now that Snowline's made a major discovery next door, it's hard not to go out and drill it. So we're going to get out there and test those targets this summer.
Are you pretty close to their discovery?
We are. So their land package is very large. They're both north of us and south of us, and actually internal to us. We have a small little block in the middle of our quite large King Tut property, which is our most advanced of our projects. We have kilometer-scale gold and soil anomalies sitting right at the apex of an intrusion, kind of checks all the boxes for the intrusion-related gold model. And super fired up about getting out there and drilling. We've got drills that'll be arriving here shortly.
And will that be the first drilling on the property?
It will. And so the history here is it's interesting. We actually got into the Yukon at a similar time to, I was going to say a similar time as Ron and Scott Berdal, but I think Scott was born here, so he's been here longer. But in terms of that part of the Yukon and staking, we were very active in 2010 and 2011, which is a long time ago now, but there was a major Nevada-style discovery made back then. And we went all in. We staked 5,000 claims. Well, guess who was doing the same thing at the exact same time? It was Ron and Scott Berdal. And in 2011, we had an army of dirtbaggers out collecting soil samples, grassroots, as green fields as you can get in terms of exploration. We developed these big, beautiful golden soil anomalies, but we just, lights went out in the Yukon in 2012 in the gold space, and they just sat there until now. So it's really fun to get back now and have a chance to really get after it.
Okay, so tell us about the drilling program you're planning that you're going to start soon. How many meters and what do you hope to do with that?
Yeah, so we've got field crews out there right now. We're doing some more mapping and refining of the target areas, and some additional soil sampling, some geophysics. We would expect the drill to show up towards the end of the month, planning for about 2,500 meters, 10 to 12 holes, around a couple hundred meters each. We have two primary targets, both on this golden or King Tut property. One's called Golden Mask, where we have a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer soil grid. Going to test that. The other is called the Main Tut. It's about 3 or 4 kilometer long, very high tenor golden soil anomaly, sort of associated with a thick felsic dike system, 35 to 50 meters wide. There's 2 or 3 dikes there. Getting pretty technical for probably some of your audience here, but anyhow, they're targets that we know have gold, very strong golden soils. We've got chip channel lines that have run good gold, and we're going to get the very first drill test on those this season. And when that wraps up, we're going to pivot right to Ontario, and we're planning to drill for somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 meters there in the fall, in October, November.
Okay, so with the drilling in Yukon, when do you anticipate you'll be having the assays back?
Yeah, that's always a good question. You know, it's I would imagine it's going to be sometime in the fall. Yeah. If we're only starting up in basically August and drilling into September, you're probably not going to see them until October, November. But
so, imagine a lot of people are very interested to see whether indeed you do have a sort of
for sure, ourselves included, right? You know,
the valley.
Yeah. I mean, it's really neat what Snowline's done up there. It's you know, there is this. It's been known for a long time. This Tombstone Gold Belt goes from, you know, Fort Knox in Fairbanks in Alaska all the way to the Northwest Territories border in the Yukon. And, you know, they've always been known to be big endowments of gold, big endowments of metal, but they, you know, the grade was always a little bit of a challenge. And what Snowline's done is they found one of these systems where that grade is at least 3 or 4 times higher than the mean. And that's sort of rewritten the book on what these deposits types can be, or this deposit class. And they're known to also occur in clusters, and it's fairly straightforward geological model. So, you know, there's more to be found out there. We know we're onto one of those systems. We just don't know what the grade profile is going to be until we drill it, and so that's what we're going to do. So
forward-looking now, going forward sort of 6 to 12 months, I mean, obviously it's going to depend on exploration results. Assuming you do hit and you do get the sort of exploration results you're anticipating, what's going to be the plan for the next 6 to 12 months taking this project forward?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, scale up, and I think you can look at a Snowline as a great example. And they've had tremendous share price appreciation. That's exactly why people invest in this space, is for those capital gains that they're generating. And there's a lot more room to grow with them. And, you know, a lot of people are making Great Bear type analogies, right, in terms of that process. And what we offer is, you know, an opportunity at an entry level at a 20 million market cap. Certainly a lot of risk. You don't know with any certainty whether we're going to find what they have, but it gives you that ability for those type of capital gains. And with those type of capital gains, you can raise a lot more money and be much more aggressive. And so I can't really predetermine what the scale of next year's program will be. What I can say is we've raised enough capital in what are very challenging markets, right? A little over $8 million. That gives us a fair bit more runway than most, and we can get fairly aggressive. We have enough capital to be drilling into next year to fund 2 seasons.
Excellent. Well, I wish you the best of luck with the drill program, and I wish you the best of luck with the listing next week. Darwin Green, Executive Chair of Onyx Gold, thank you very much for joining us.
Great pleasure. Thank you.
Stay tuned to Kitco Mining for more from the Yukon Mining Investment Conference.